Welcome, we're live. Oh, we gotta
Hello.
adjust my camera. We don't have a guest this week. There we go. Welcome, everyone. Some people may have guessed a little bit of what's going on today, but that's not exactly what we're going to be talking about. But in some first brighter news, excuse me. The channel so far is we're past like 850 or something like that, and we are just, we still have over 100 subscribers in the last 28 days, so we're very, very likely, at least towards the end of next month, to be hitting 1,000 subscribers. So we're thinking of some fun activities to do. We're thinking of some event to celebrate that, so be on the lookout for that. The details haven't been hashed out quite yet. We got a month still. And not only that, but in August, I will be gone for for a week. So there'll still be the videos on the channel. I'm already setting up to preload those. We will just have a week without any live play or tabletop content or anything like that. So I'm thinking of ways I want to fill the space. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I'll also say I did figure out I will be unavailable. I'll be taking a vacation with family in like early September, like the first 2 weeks of September.
Yeah, and I'll be taking my stuff in the last couple weeks of August. So it's gonna be a really rough time overall. So we're gonna think of some stuff to do. Obviously, 1,000 subscribers is no small amount. A grand majority of people who make YouTube accounts never get that far. And not only that, but we're in a moderately fast category when it comes to channel growth. Sensory branding anyway. Because doing all this in less than a year is pretty big, pretty major. We're a very fast growing channel here as far as like the Pathfinder community is concerned. And honestly, it just gets chalked up to so many people make super long, detailed videos on how to run classes, and it's not that there's not an audience for that. Trust me, there is. People tell me all the time, hey, can you just do a deep dive? Can you make an hour-long video on this, please? And, well, maybe in the future. It's nice to have a more casual feel on it and to look into things that people don't normally look into. And that's why the archetype videos do so well, honestly.
Quick, just informative, but like, because I'm in the camp of like, I don't want to see your hour-long video about like what a class can do. I feel like you can sum up the gist in like 15 minutes.
20 minutes. Or, yeah, 20 minutes is about what I can do. And also, hey, Hector, thank you so much. I'm so sorry we're catching you when you're about to go to sleep. I think I've seen you on Twitter. I believe I've seen you on Twitter. So thank you for stopping by. Hopefully, you can catch some of this information later. These VODs always go up on YouTube, so you can catch us then. And I don't know. We do get a lot of overseas. Nope, impossible. I'm not on this. Oh, okay. I could have swore maybe it's a different person then. Either way, maybe we'll plan for some overseas content. Like stuff that just gets live content that gets done later in the evening. There's not a lot, but there are some. So I feel like doing that every once in a while would be pretty good.
Yeah, true. I know that's a big thing. Time zones be like that. Also, god damn, found you from your Lancer videos. Reminder that I haven't finished the Lancer video. I'm still like editing the tier list.
I mean, you were just telling me about like 3 new projects that you want to start. That's on top of like the 5 new projects you've mentioned since starting that.
Yeah.
So
Funny you mentioned about an Alex deep dive slog. I have like 5 things I'm doing. according to that.
This man is based. Thank you for watching my Alex deep dive.
That's it.
That's it. You don't need to know anymore.
That's most I'd say.
We need more third-party homebrew coverage in Pathfinder 2e space.
That'd be really fun.
I think that'd be kind of cool. I think maybe that's what we'll do. We'll make August and like the beginning of September. We'll have like a homebrew month. That'd be kind of cool.
I think it'd be really cool because like it is pure. I would love to learn more about Pathfinder like homebrew. Whenever I think tabletop homebrew, I think of 5e. Granted, because it's like there's a fuck ton of it because it's a really popular system. But on the other hand, it feels like 5e is really easy to build homebrew for because it's like you kind of have to
well, yeah, right.
5e.
So many people do so out of necessity.
Yeah. Like it's a thing of like Pathfinder 2. I feel like it's so tightly designed. I'm curious about entering in your own stuff. I'm really curious to see how it interacts with the game itself.
Maybe we'll talk about that in one of our table talks. I think that'd be fun. I think if we get some homework, I'm not doing anything particular next week. Yeah, so we can do some homework. We'll pick out some of our favorite homebrews that we found, or just some that we find are just really funny, and we'll talk about that like next time.
I wonder which ones I'll pick.
I wonder. Listen, I think it'd be fun. I think
that'd be a fun video. The stuff I'm going to enjoy is the stuff that'll just be like, where I go like, oh, it's metal, or I'm like, that's hilarious. That's my two responses to any rule.
Yeah. Maybe you could try vids explaining neat builds you could do a la Fudge Muppet for a Skyrim.
Yeah.
You know, there's actually been a lot of call-outs for player character builds. And I'm really bad at making character builds that are like not super serious. A lot of mine are very well thought through and very like, you know, I guess your standard character builds like with an intent on a deep narrative, because that's what I love. I love characters that very much like loves deep narrative. I like the recent character build I actually did on the channel here. It wasn't a very in-depth like point per point here. It was just more explaining the process I go through. But I don't know, maybe that'd just be some good old-fashioned work I need to do, is just make some builds that are a little bit more fun. Beastskin Wereshark Pirate, though. Exactly. There's there are some really fun builds out there.
Oh yeah, totally.
Good evening, Rosano Colombo. Welcome. There's some really solid stuff on Pathfinder Infinite, and there's some stupid broken stuff, so business as usual. Yeah, I mean, anyone can make homebrew content, right? So obviously people are going to put whatever up there. But yeah, so we definitely got some fun stuff to talk about today, and we got some stuff to talk about as far as the Pathfinder community, I think, is concerned. And hey, Epsilon, how you doing? Oh, I also want to make a special mention. We have a Shadowrun. We have 2 Shadowrun videos and a Session 0 and a live play on the channel. So we haven't done any deep dives into Shadowrun, and I feel like Shadowrun is not a game you can even comprehend in a one shot.
No, it requires like a bigger delve and like a small campaign, I feel.
No, I remember. We listened to your cover music too, Rosano. No worries. But yeah, so we do have some. Unfortunately, like right now, the most I can manage is a one shot that's like 3 hours long for any game system. and then to make a couple of videos. I'm still behind. My vampire videos, like final thoughts, is still yet to be done. I recorded it. I just gotta find time to edit it out.
We're the same.
Well, yeah, except I actually have content put on the channel.
Yeah, well, we're the same though.
But there's definitely, I think the lore of Shadowrun is actually really cool. I actually really like the lore specifically. I think it's a fun system. It's definitely a lot crunchier than systems that I standardly play. But it's a good game. We played 5e, I believe. 5th or 6th, I can't remember, on the channel. It should say. But it's definitely a fun one. If I get to the point in the near future where I can hire some editors to do some content, then I might be taking more deep dives into other game systems. Like, my objective is just to make this a 24/7 channel of just, okay, we're just talking table talk. We're gonna make videos every day, and we're gonna have talks, you know, every week and all that kind of stuff. But right now, as a one-man crew, mostly, it's a lot just to do what we're currently doing. I've not tried Call of Cthulhu. I would like to try it, but we'll have to see. Unfortunately, like I said, I can only manage one game system a month on my current schedule, so I'm sure we will get to it. It will come out soon.
I do hope we get to it, because like, I love crafty and mythos stuff. It's sick. So I would love to play around in that space.
We did get into Chummer. I didn't mention it in the video at all, because I didn't really get a lot of extensive use with it. But we did see the Chummer program. Yeah. I've been hearing a lot about Delta Green. So that one might be another one that we'll be putting on the list. So I have a long list of games to put on. So, I mean, if anything, this is a reason why you should subscribe. If anyone here is not subscribed yet or not following on Twitch, we do all kinds of tabletop stuff. Pathfinder just being one of the key ones, because that's my favorite, and because I believe that Paizo is a really great company, and I think they're doing tabletop right. But we do check out other game systems, and we've had a very interesting few game systems already. Lancer definitely struck me as a game I want to try again in the future. And then, of course, Vampire the Masquerade. I mean, it's a legacy game. Of course, it was going to be good. And that's actually one of the highest rated by players so far.
Like, it's Lancer and VTM are, like, definitely the best I think we've encountered.
For sure. And, I mean, the other ones that didn't do so well were definitely games that could not be fully scoped out in, like, a one-shot. Which is fair. And it's understandable. But one of the things about what we're doing is first impressions, you know. We want to represent that first player experience as best as we can from a bunch of people who have a bunch of different experiences, so that, you know, people who try out a game know what they're getting into at least. So many games, too little time. Yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, let's talk about the current controversy. So Alex,
yes.
Do you know anything about the controversy currently going on?
I'll sum it the way I've seen it, and like most things, I mentioned this last table talk, like, I online am like very Pathfinder adjacent. Like, I see secondhand what happens just from like stuff that's trending, and I follow a few key people in the space. From what I've gathered, a 5e YouTuber was annoyed with the 2e community, and with the complaints they had, I thought it sounded very fair.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny too, that was kicking up around the last time we did Table Talk.
Oh, that's really funny.
It literally was starting about the day of or the day before I have to say, Ginny D was the content creator. Who Ginny D, if you don't know, is a very popular 5e content creator. And she does all kinds of great content. She has a lot of interesting takes. I think clash with some of her ideas, but that's fine. That's tabletop in general. I definitely do recommend that if you're into 5e content, go and check her out. She's very good representation. Let's see here. Especially because she likes to approach from a very, like, cosplay and, like, community angle as well. Let's see, when did... Oh my god. She posts so often. Trying to see when this controversy started exactly.
Man, I'm glad at least. Damn, like Slug, you're more in the dark than I am about this. You actually watch that YouTuber. I don't watch a lot of like tabletop YouTube in general. I used to watch a lot. I don't really much anymore.
Yeah, June 15th is when this sparked, which was last Wednesday. So yeah, literally the day before our last table talk.
Ah, damn.
And fuck. You know, I should have. I would. Yeah, no, never mind. We don't need to quote it. Her general sentiment was that every time she makes a D&D video, she sees 100 comments of people mentioning Pathfinder did this but better. Or, hey, if you don't like this system, try it in Pathfinder. It actually works.
Yeah. That's I see that.
Yeah. So it's kind of a controversy sparked by a relatively large content creator expressing a very relatable annoyance. I very much have played with people who cannot stop talking about how much they prefer D&D over Pathfinder. And in the middle of a game we're playing currently, and just complaining the whole time. Oh, I hate how they do it. I wish they would do it like this, like they do in Pathfinder. Or like they do in D&D, I mean. It bothers me. It bothers me a lot. And now, to be fair, it's a very different circumstance. If someone is running a game for you, and you're bitching about their game system, that's kind of a no-no. That's kind of a don't do that, please. That's really annoying.
It's also, yeah, it's really rude, too.
It's extremely rude. But in the case of Ginny D, she made a video and people said annoying things in the comment section. And it's one of those things where that just happens all the time on the internet. And so that's where the controversy part of this came in. Because all the content creators who know how annoying it is to constantly hear people like saying their game system sucks or whatever is just a very common experience. And so when she came out with this, a lot of people got behind her saying, don't be annoying. The Pathfinder community should be better. But then the Pathfinder community members, like the actual people in the community, came back saying, but we've been dealing with this with D&D 5e for a long time now. You know, a lot of them liking their game and a lot of people being, I like 5e better. It's just an easier game to get into, you know. And so the controversy starts mostly in the comments of these various posts and in these videos of people arguing, is it okay to be frustrated, or should people just mind their P's and Q's?
Oh, I didn't know it was like the Pathfinder community went back on it. I thought it was just a purely like damn 2e players are annoying thing.
Well, see, but that's the thing. That's because that's what you see from the perspective of content creators.
Oh yeah.
Because they're the ones making the posts. If you go in and read the comment sections, it's a very different story. And so, I guess first and foremost, before we even get started, let me squarely place my stance on the situation. Communities are, especially one that's very fast growing, are going to have toxic community members. And they're going to have, especially in tabletop, oh my god, especially in tabletop, there's always going to be people talking about how their system does it better or why they like their system more. And some of them are going to be pushy because they want to see that their content gets produced more. If they can convince someone, even by annoying them enough, right? It's like they only have to hit once kind of situation. And not only that, but I also very much sympathize with Pathfinder players because D&D 5e has had its own toxic community of D&D 5e players. So my stance is, don't be annoying. Just don't be annoying. Don't be over pushy. At the same time, the content community, the content creators need to not pit themselves against these players. This kind of stuff happens on the internet all the time. People are going to come onto your videos and tell you you're playing your game wrong. Even people in the same community are going to do that. Hell, Pathfinder has the issue with itself because Pathfinder 1e players really don't like Pathfinder 2e. And so Pathfinder 2e kind of gets it from both sides sometimes. And so does Pathfinder 1e, honestly. So, you know, the content creators need to be the ones out there pushing positivity, pushing enjoyment for the system and collaboration with other game systems. They don't need to be sitting there telling the community not to be annoying. Because no one's ever responded well to, you're being annoying right now. You can address it, that's fine. You can address it, you can say, hey, we should be better. But, like, Nonat making a whole video saying, stop, don't do this, sounds like he's chastising a bunch of children, which is not healthy for the community. Most of these people are going to take that negatively. Instead, what he could have done is go out and make a video about how awesome D&D 5e is. You know, he could have talked about collaborative efforts. He could go out and make collaborative efforts with D&D players. He knows XP to level 3 and the Runesmith, and they play in some games together, you know. And it's not just him. Almost everywhere on Twitter, it's just constantly content creators chastising their fan base. Content creators need to be, you know, an example. They're not your dad. They don't need to be telling you what to do. They just need to show you that it's better to do it a different way. Sorry, there's been a lot of comments, so let's look at these. And I guess if you have an opinion as well, like, feel free.
Honestly, the only thing I'm like really thinking like this is an issue of, because like at the end of the day, it's also a thing where I see a lot of people being like, don't bash such and such community. It's definitely a personal perspective thing, but as someone who, like, I've never tied myself to, like, I guess, like, a big community thing. I can say I enjoy a thing along with people. Like, I don't tie, I guess, my personality to, like, a thing I enjoy. So whenever I see people be like, don't generalize the Pathfinder community, it's always like, I don't know, if they're criticizing an element of a community and you don't do that, then I don't know why you'd take umbrage with that opinion, because you're the exception then. I don't know. But, like, granted, I think another thing is a lot of it comes down to a trend, an issue that just is on the internet in general. Of I have never seen a more the most prevailing thing I see is people say something with the absolute confidence that they're the first person who said it.
Yeah.
When it's like a comment section is like thousands of you should play Pathfinder 2e, and then you see it like 5 of them, you're like, I bet no one's told them that they should play Pathfinder 2e. It's like it's like awareness. If it's like, I'm gonna leave a comment, and you look down and you see the exact same comment, you don't need to leave it. That's someone already did that. I don't understand that. And it seems like that's the problem. If it's like a few people being like, oh, Pathfinder's a cool thing, and then but then when you're hit with like thousands, I'd get fucking annoyed by that.
Yeah, and I agree.
I start hating it. I'm also a person. I'm guilty of hating a thing purely because I think the community is annoying. Because whenever I'm watching or playing the thing, I'm like, man, I saw some people and I've talked to people who are really annoying who care about this thing. So I'm just not gonna like it. It's a delicate thing, and I think like a way to solve it is like not even like, because if I didn't see Nunnet's video, but if his position is never suggest you play Pathfinder, it's like, no, just be aware that you're not the first person to suggest that. Like you're saying something that thousands and thousands of people have said and are currently saying right now. You don't need to like make it known that that's your stance or that's what you think.
I mean, that's the thing, right? It doesn't need to be it doesn't need to be something like, I understand it is an issue. It's annoying. I said myself, as a content creator, I 100% understand where Ginny D is coming from, even without the massive fan base, because you see it everywhere, especially when you get deep into the community. Is it annoying? Yes. Is it, and like what I believe it was Hector who was saying was, Nonet's comments weren't necessarily negative, but they were definitely chastising. And the problem with it is, what can you control, right? What can you control? Because telling trolls not to troll is a great way to get troll harder. And telling a community they're toxic is just a great way to make that community more prickly. We've seen it literally every time. That has never changed ever. So shouting out a toxic community just tells more people that there's such a toxic community out there. That's extremely not helpful. There's a lot of people out there who are very casually watching content who would never have known about controversies because they don't dive deep enough to see them. But they hear about them because everyone talks about it. And it just makes people want to veer away from those communities because they heard how toxic they are. So, I think you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Don't point out the toxic community. Make content. If you want to make a difference, show more collaboration. Talk to other content creators. Have fun and show people having fun with those games. Because I much prefer Pathfinder 2e. I still have and play in a D&D 5e game. And I like my character in D&D 5e. 2 of them, honestly, I've really liked. When we played Out of the Abyss, I actually thoroughly enjoyed that game too. And the whole taking 20 debacle is a very different matter. The taking 20 guy was saying some rather egregious things against Pathfinder in his video and deserved to get reamed for it.
Just someone who made a bad take and then got made fun of for making a bad take.
But Ginny D does not deserve constant harassment to play Pathfinder 2e. That's 100% not okay. I also acknowledge that me telling people not to do it isn't going to stop them, though.
No. It's the thing of, for any issue with a community, like, it's a hard thing to do. Because if it's your own community, you can police your community. Like, people who say you can't control your audience, you can. There's ways to do it. It's not about saying, like, guys, don't do this. It's making sure that it's perfectly clear that because a lot of times it's done for attention, just making sure that's like, yeah, you're not going to get the attention you want or any attention if you do this activity. You can police your community. Policing a community for a giant fandom is a lot harder, and there's not a lot of like good ways to do it, because like regardless of what you make, regardless of what you say, people will carry on carrying on because they'll stick to their guns, and there'll be people in the community that agree with them, so they'll just go to the community that agrees with them, because that's just a fandom thing. If it's a YouTuber like community, you can't really go to a community for a YouTuber who actively is disavowing the shit you do and say. You know, it's that kind of deal. There's not a good answer. It's the only way, and they're not even that. It's just the only thing is like people just need to be more aware of like a situation, need to know time and place. They need to read the room and understand that their idea is not new.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, what Scott S here just said, I'm one of those who doesn't really dive into the community. He didn't even realize this was such a thing because they thought that the community was relatively tiny. It's not in the tabletop space. Honestly, it's one of the second biggest tabletops out there as far as like online spaces is concerned. But the internet is so vast, you know, it's like finding an island. You're not going to know till you actually get there. But the thing is right. But that completely shows the point. Ginny D mentioning this created a shockwave, and thus it instantly divided people into two parties. That's not, I feel like, how it should have been addressed. You know what I mean? It's okay to vent about it, though, and Ginny D's Twitter is up for her to do whatever. And I think it's completely okay to vent about it. This is just the backlash of such a thing. And it's annoying. Yeah. It's annoying. If I have people coming into my chat telling me, oh, this game is better, this game is better, I get annoyed too, you know? I'd be like, I make a great point about this class. And then someone comes up and says, yeah, but in this game system, it's actually done kind of better. It's just like, cool. I'm talking about Pathfinder here, though, so, you know.
Like, in imagining it, like, if I was in that position, I would have 100% like do the same thing of just tweet like, God damn, will these people shut the fuck up? That's probably what I'd say and probably what I'd do. It's a very human thing. Granted, I'm also like, I'm not in that position, like whatever, but like,
right.
It's a very understandable course of action. And I don't know. I hope people aren't like, how dare you, like, you do it this way or approach it this way. Oh, come 100%. Come on. You're allowed to like rant about something and be upset about a thing. That's perfect. That's a valid thing to do. That's stupid.
Yeah, here's another one. GURPS fans never made me want to play GURPS, so I get it. Yeah. It's that kind of thing, and the problem is a good majority of people passing through the space only want to see what makes a game fun or not. When they see a toxic community, that makes a game not fun. So it's a very understandable concern for content creators to want to address that. But a content creator's like word on a subject means more than 10,000 comments. 100%. Like, it's exactly what, my Squeezing Arms said here, or was it someone else? No, it was Panda Pruitt here who said, it's almost sad as someone that likes so many TTRPGs to see that the community is so segregated into, I like this game, I like that game, I like it. Exactly! We should just be able to enjoy tabletop games. It's like someone being upset that you play a different video game than they do. It's just like, how dare you play Final Fantasy VII Remake? Obviously, Call of Duty 18 is better. Whatever, I don't know what Call of Duty is.
It's so dumb.
The games are so, like, not even comparable sometimes.
And you can, like, God, I say this so much, like, on Table Talk, like, you can play multiple systems. I don't understand, like, the idea of having an exclusive thing. I understand, like, if it's a money thing, where you're like, I'm not gonna buy a fuck ton of core books. You know what? Fair enough. That's a fair thing. But if it's like, I like this game, I'll never touch anything else. If you play anything else, you're wrong. That's stupid. Like, you can happily enjoy multiple systems, or someone's like, oh man, I really like this system, instead of, oh, that system's bad, you could play this system, my system. You could just say, oh, interesting, I haven't tried that system, what's it like? Use, like, just, I don't know, it's super annoying, and it's all like just weird tribalism. In the end of the day, people find a thing, they attach themselves to it, they make it part of their self-worth, and then they will refuse to budge from it because that's now their tribe, that's their flag that they wave around.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, like, as a channel on Bad Luck Gamer, I want to make tabletop in general just cool and fun. Imagine making a community, right, about just playing different tabletop games and having fun with it, just enjoying the act of tabletop in general. There's really nothing out there that really hits that, you know? And I feel like the community, I look at our chat today. Anyone, look at our chat today. There's a lot of very understanding people here. There's a lot of people here who love different game systems and understand that it's not okay to bash someone constantly for playing different games. You guys are the majority, I guarantee, in the community. We don't need to listen to people who just want to be hateful and just want to be so tribal, like Alex said, about tabletop. Like, Yuki, I love what you said here, because, quoting, in the system, it's done better. And then the response, oh no, exclamation, anyway. It's like that, like that meme, you know, of just like, Pathfinder 2 is better. The person comes out, gives them a thumbs up, and then goes back to talking about D&D 5e. That's just how it should be, you know?
That is my response, like, fucking constantly to things. Is like, this thing's actually bad, thumbs up, anyway, so go back to enjoying it. Like, whatever. You can like what you like, you can dislike what you dislike, just don't be a dickhead about it.
And I also... Oh, go ahead. Sorry, finish up.
I feel like a big thing, too, is like, it feels like a lot of this is also like, what's the phrase? Damned by good intentions, or whatever?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of people, when you actually ask them, or like in this position, they're like, oh, I genuinely wanted to, like, recommend a thing I enjoy. Yeah, you can do that. There's a time and place. And it's also a thing of, like, it's a thing I've learned. I was really bad about it in, like, middle school and, like, early high school. Like, it's a thing of, you really enjoy a thing, and you gush about it. I as a person, I hyperfixate onto a thing, and I love it, and I think it's the absolute best thing in the world. And I talk about it a lot, because it's the only thing I'm thinking about. It's a normal thing. It's I think an ADHD thing, which I have. And it's, you know, it's something I've learned. I was like, ah, damn, that's kind of annoying behavior. Maybe I should adjust that. And I'd like to think I'm better. I know I do gush about a lot of things a lot, but it's there's time and places. If you're shoving it into every conversation, any moment you can, like, shout something's like praises from the high heavens, or something's just like how shit it is from the high heavens as well. Like, I don't know, lost my train of thought there. But no, main point, read a room.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could. That's the problem, right? Everyone expects the community or other people to be reasonable. They don't care. It's mostly anonymous. And something I want to mention, actually, before kind of moving forward, I want everyone to please remember, Ginny D is in a very hostile environment in the tabletop space. As a female content creator, she gets a lot of hate and a lot of mansplaining just for existing. This is not about talking about Ginny D and how she handled the response or whatever. As we stated earlier, she's okay to vent about it on Twitter. The problem is, when you're so big, even the smallest of movements causes waves. And that's very unfortunate. I just want everyone here to please understand Ginny D is fighting the good fight and is trying really hard as a female tabletop content creator, because let's be real, right? I represent the majority of content creators on tabletop. White guys, not 100% fit, you know, maybe a little sweaty sometimes. Like, that's what most of the content channels are. And I find that frustrating personally, because it means that, well, I guess I can't talk about the thing I want to because I fit the stereotype, right? I don't let that stop me, but it is a frustrating thought that comes up. It's one of those things where we gotta understand, and again, a lot of people here in chat understand too, is it's silly. Everyone's making fun of the whole, oh, you know, all right, people who double the damage on crits versus people who double the dice fight. You know, like, it's exactly that. I double the damage, so
double
I
the
guess
damage.
That was a bad argument, but
I'm putting my flag in the ground right now, Cam. If you're wrong, I'm gonna yell at you and leave this call right now.
I know, right? But I also think double the damage is more fun.
It's more fun, but whatever. But I was gonna point that out. I think it's really funny. This is too positive. Quick, make groups, form tribes.
Yeah, make tribes to argue in the chat. Go, go, go. It's really funny. You guys are great, for real. We got up to 20 viewers not too long. We're at 19 right now. This chat, you know, that's the cool thing too. This channel, we've been growing almost every time. It's been pretty nuts, actually. I'm very excited because once we cross that 20 barrier, we're gonna actually start seeing a lot more people. It's crazy.
Yeah. Damn. You know what? I feel like Hector immediately won the argument. Honestly, more player agency and choice for it. Fuck yeah, I go for that.
You know what? I can get behind that point. It doesn't mess up balance, so I don't think there's any problem. Yep. That's what we that
in my tables. I really like that rule because it at least makes it so your crits do hit. Because yeah, the worst feel is double dice, and it's like more variable. But like the worst feel is double dice. Like, yes, get roll 2 damage dice, 2 1s.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
That's always
weird. It's kind of rough. It's one of those things. The only reason why, honestly, I don't do it on Roll20 is because Roll20 will roll both sets, and you'll see that you rolled better normally, but your crit die will be really, really garbage. So I just make it double what you get so that there's no confusion and no one can feel bad about, you know, an outcome.
The amount of times I've been just stolen a really cool like damage number because of that Roll20 thing. Like, that's happened. It's you know, you should feel good when you crit.
And Yuki, you understand what's going on. It's not impossible to subvert thousands and thousands of years of tribalism. And it's impossible to tell the internet not to be trolls. That's true. So, you know, what can you do? What can you handle? Yeah, Fantasy Grounds versus Roll20 fight me. Drama. You know what? I get that I like Roll20. But every time I say that, Fantasy Grounds, it's like, how do you know there's a Fantasy Grounds person in the room? Just say you like Roll20. They'll let you know.
I have actually no clue what Fantasy Grounds is.
Just another
I have never heard of
digital tabletop system.
Listen, if it has a better Starfinder sheet, then maybe I'll look into it.
But, you know, that's the thing. Like, tabletop is something that should be enjoyed like video games. I think that's the thing that people in the tabletop community don't understand right now. But I think we will eventually. The thing is, about half of the tabletop community are people who played in the dark ages of tabletop. Who played in the days of you got made fun of for playing tabletop. Or when you played, no one else played. It was the nerdy thing to do. And so it's really easy to want to hype people up for the game systems you play. Because the competition was really, really scary. If people went to other games, you didn't get to play the game you wanted. You know? So you wanted them in your game. tabletop now is so big, people can find games for almost any system. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
literally nuts.
that was my exposure to tabletop growing up. All I really saw about it was the fact that it was just a quick narrative tool in TV shows and movies to show that a character is nerdy and like unpopular, is show that they play D&D. That's all I knew it as. Later on, I was like, oh, that's a really dumb narrative tool, and then it happily changed. But no, and also like I grew up in just like not really being exposed to tabletop till I was like 16, 17, because it was in a situation where like my dad actually has played D&D. I think he played advanced D&D back in the day.
Yeah.
And he just remember saying he wasn't into it. So I've just never been exposed to it because like the only person who really would have in my life just played it, wasn't a fan. But like I always feel bad for those people where it's like, damn, I understand where you're coming from, but like it's not the same. It's not what it used to be. You're not going to get made fun of for liking D&D by like most people. The lay person's going to be like, oh yeah, like Stranger Things.
Yeah. And there's also a video Donat recently about whether tabletop is peaking or not. You never know, because the thing is, like any graph, anyone who's ever seen a graph of like content in some form or another, even go to like Google Trends and look at things, it always goes up and down, up and down, up and down. You might get a spike and you have no idea it's coming. Tabletop, I don't think needs to get bigger. I think it just needs to be more consistent now, and it'll just grow on its own, you know. It had its spikes. It's time to just start growing organically. But yeah, it's so crazy that so many people in the tabletop space feel like they need to compete with each other because they like a game. And yeah, tabletop is time consuming, for sure. But so are video games, right? Who, like, we all know someone who plays a video game for 8 hours a day sometimes. It doesn't stop them from playing other games. Maybe it does in the MMO space. I think the MMO space is very like that too, though. But as far as like
you have the
standard
time
gaming,
and money for one game if you're playing an MMO. It's like a real ass job with how much got poured into those games.
Oh, of course I know him. It's me. Yeah, right? I'm that way too. Like I've been diving into Monster Hunter. I got Monster Hunter Rise on... I played it twice now. I got like 40 hours on Switch and now like 70 hours on PC because I'm getting ready for Sunbreak. I play a lot of games. I also make time for tabletop games. I actually want more tabletop games in my life right now. It's been my number one complaint recently. Don't make me reopen my League of Legends addiction. 4 years sober. Me too. I think I'm pretty close to 4 years. Well, not 4 years sober, because I did play like a couple games a couple years ago. But like,
we played it recently when I thought I wanted to get the League and then realized quickly, nah, I didn't.
Yeah. I can't believe how much time I spent on Uber Eats Simulator, aka Death Stranding.
Yeah, I love that game. Game's so good. You know, I mean, I've almost put 200 hours into Elden Ring. I have definitely around 400 hours in Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, like, it's okay. We can play different games, right? The big thing is it's always the issue of playing tabletop is a more exhausting affair than it is video games. Because you can turn your brain off playing video games. You can't really turn your brain off playing tabletop. So that time becomes a little bit more precious. And so it's understandable that some people play the same game for like years and years and years or whatever. But it's one of those things where it doesn't have to be that way. I think tabletops can evolve to be more, you know, like time friendly for players. I think that there's different ways tabletops can be expressed. You know, for the game I'm designing, I want to make like an online living space for the game. I want to take like the forum idea of tabletop and turn it into like an interactive website that's constantly being updated live by player content and stuff like that. I have a lot of fun and great ideas for tabletop that I'd like to come across. And that's the thing, is we just can't get hooked up. We can't get hooked up on these kind of small controversies. Everyone here, I'm sure, is a rational enough person to understand that it's annoying to hear someone constantly talk about a game that you have no interest in. It's one of the tabletop trademarks for people to gush about their characters to people who don't fucking care.
True, though.
You know, it's like, it's in our blood. We already have to go through it, even in a friendly sense.
Oh my god, the what Yuki said, like, I feel that with Elden Ring. My first playthrough was a quality build where I mainly used a dex weapon. Granted, a lot of it's a meme in the Dark Souls community anyways, and the people around me, it's a joke. But when I'm like, yeah, I use like the Bloodhound's Fang, my friends like, oh, dex weapon?
Dex weapon. Yeah. To be fair, the Bloodhound's Fang is actually a really cool weapon.
It's really cool.
It's a really fun weapon.
That's primarily why I use it. I love the moveset. Granted, and I do play dex builds from soft games, but you know what? I mean, granted, like, I've never actually had a person yell in my face for it, but meh. Yeah.
Do you think a West Marches style game would work in a tight math of Pathfinder 2E? I don't know. I actually don't know a lot about West March stuff.
I've heard the name West March.
I have heard it too, so I'm not 100% sure. Wait, let me tell you about Bay, my NB Amnesiac Wereshark Adaptive Shifter. I mean, that sounds like a cool-ass character. I don't know what you're saying.
Yuki, I refuse to use the Rivers of Blood because I refuse to put points in Intelligence or Arcane. It's a matter of principle.
If we need tech help, you got us. Okay. I mean, it's definitely something I would consider in the future for sure. I would like to do bigger production stuff for tabletop in general. Heck, even we should have the tournament, Alex. That should be our 1,000 subscriber thing.
Like the PvP one?
The PvP one.
I could send a few messages. I talked to a friend of mine. I mentioned it to you. I have a buddy who's really good with After Effects and like that kind of stuff. I explained the idea and he said he'd be down. I'd have to get in contact with him, and I'd want to give us a good amount of time before we actually do it.
Well, I mean,
that way I can make sure he has enough time to like make it look cool. So I'm gonna ask him for help. I want to give him as much time as possible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think we need to do anything. The first time we just gotta, you know, push our way through it and figure it out. But
that is true.
You know, like, there's no problem with the first one not being the best, but I think that'd be a fun event to run for sure.
Yeah, I can at least ask him.
Have some fun just getting some people together to be commentators on a tabletop game. Get some people from the community to run some fights. I think that'd be fun. We need to come up with our commentators, though.
That's true.
I think I would like to play the role of the Hell Knight commentator. As the very lawful person that I am, I feel like I would play that character very well.
Ooh, I'd have to come up with something. I feel like my gut makes me want to play the best way I can describe it is, you haven't played or touched Blood Bowl, right?
No, I've not played it. I know a vague amount about it, but yeah.
Because there's two commentators for Blood Bowl, and it's a giant, like, I think it's an ogre and a like necromancer, and they both are very, like, when you think of commentator, they're these really strange characters, but they talk like really officially, like you would imagine a commentator would. And also the fun thing is, anytime there's updates to the game, it's in the perspective of those two characters. Like, they'll always post updates as, like, the two commentators talking about a new model release. I would probably play, like, a stock normal one. Maybe I'd have to come with something interesting.
We can spitball. We
Yeah, no.
I think that'd be a good 1,000K subscriber thing, but you know, there's probably other ideas out there as well. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I've seen pretty much everyone's view on the situation, which is no one's really wrong about the controversy, but no one's right really about it either. It shouldn't have been as big a thing as it was, but simultaneously the issues are valid. So I mean, I don't know. I'm strictly of the opinion that content creators need to lead rather than like talk down to the community in any sense. And maybe talk down is 1,000K subscribers. You know what? Fair enough. That is a long wait. I thought 1K subscribers. My bad. You know, but hey, you know, who knows? Who knows? Maybe this table talk will go viral for some reason, and then everyone will just come in and just talk shit and then hate follow.
Hell yeah, I'd love to see that. I can't wait for your channel to blow up, people to dig through all of Table Talk, and then come at me for the things I've said during Table Talk. I've given some hot takes that'll give me some real hate.
Isn't that gonna be fun though? It's just like, you didn't realize that was a pit, did you?
I mean, most of the time. It'll be granted if genuinely I saw my Twitter blow up or Discord blow up at a hot take I gave, I would laugh and then put my phone down. I mean that'd be my immediate gut response, because and I did do the cardinal sin in one of our older episodes and insult Dream.
Yeah, you never know.
That one will come bite me in the ass one day.
Honestly, we get a lot of glasses pushers on this channel all the time. The actually, you know,
I mean,
this is wrong.
Yeah, and I've done that in our community.
All right, thanks Yuki for stopping by.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I want to be what I believe tabletop should be. Talking about stuff like that, I don't know. Like, I don't know. That's the thing too, right? Because talking about controversy gets views. Hands down. You look at any channel in the tabletop space, the ones that responded to Taking 20's, you know, hot take, blew the fuck up. Even with the recent controversy with Jameson Stone and Satine Phoenix.
Oh yeah, that whole thing. That I know about.
I don't know about that.
That one is a little like, goddamn, they should treat your freelance writers better.
Well, I mean, like, I do know a little bit, but it's something I just really did not get deep into.
Yeah.
Wait. Let me read this. I just saw you were saying good talk, and then I spaced across the rest. Good talk. Got to make a spreadsheet to make a multi-level analysis of 4 or 5e monk builds to figure out which one to use to be the least useless.
I have to imagine some people do that.
We don't allow link posting unless Alex checks it first. So, if he chooses to, he can look it over and.
Where was that in the chat? And which one was it on?
For those who want to tinker with monsters, monster.pf2.tools. We just need to make sure that, you know, everything is kosher. Yeah. There's some bad actors out there who will come in, Trojan horse your channel, and then send everyone to a site.
Yeah, currently it's only a mod privilege for a tool. Granted, if it's literally just a link for some rules, I'll probably link that.
What's OSR? My squeezing arm. What an interesting name.
I think I've heard OSR a few times, and I'm also the same opinion. What is that?
Well, while we're figuring out what OSR is, yeah, there's the whole controversy with like Satine Phoenix and Jameson Stone or whatever his name is. I don't know. I mean, the guy looks like a schmuck in this picture, not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, he seems like kind of a tool, and it turns out he is, so I can say that.
Yeah, he really is a tool. Oh god, some of the things he said has been so cringy too.
Oh god, it's been like, it's so cringe.
Old school Renaissance. New games made in the style of older TRPGs.
Oh, is it? I know I keep seeing a video on my front page of YouTube. Like, is like AD&D coming back? Is that a thing? Is that what it's relating to? Like, I saw a thing. Like, I think AD&D is having another book. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true.
Old school revival, old school Renaissance. Yeah, you know what? That sounds like a good video idea.
There's probably a market for that too. Like, if people want to, because the people who want to go back to the good old days and play the good old systems, like if they have a way to do that and stop complaining about new systems, good for them.
Where should I make a note on this? I'll make a note on this because honestly, it does sound like a really good video idea. Okay. It's growing, simple rule sets more danger, etc. Yeah, honestly, I definitely would be interested in looking into that. And again, like I said, it sounds like a really good video idea. So I think if people are interested in that kind of stuff, I'd be more than happy to post on it. Is great. It's essentially Nethys, but loads faster for me. Also, IMO, better formatting, but that might just be me being used to their 5e version. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Archive Nethys did just recently go through some changes that made their site work much, much better. But I do agree that it can be a little,
I know.
Okay.
I've used the dot tool stuff for 5e content.
Other YouTubers in the space. This is good because I can watch their content on it. Questing Beast, Hexed Press. See, I can't even sit here and have a simple chat without working. It'd definitely be interesting for sure, because I do think that there's a value in older systems. And like in any space, retro comes back. It's just the cycle of, it's like the art cycle, whatever it's called. I studied it in like an art class, but there's always like cycles of art when it comes to looking into retro and then everything. I can't remember exactly. No, nerd. What do you mean? Sorry for nerding out. We're here to be nerds. We're talking about nerd stuff. It's okay. Literally, we're gonna have nerdy ass icons and chat, things here shortly. I can't wait. I honestly can't wait for this to go more into the partner program for YouTube so that we can do more of that kind of stuff. Get some dono stuff. Hopefully Twitch removes its exclusivity soon so we can start doing that on Twitch as well. Because honestly, I would really, really love to have a lot more community interactions. Not just with Table Talk, but with all kinds of content. It will be fun for me to come up with content that can be very community interactable.
True. I do actually feel that, Panda. Like, sometimes finding a very specific thing is a bit of a pain. Looking into some weapon types, like, God, it was a little bit of a pain to figure out how, like, to properly filter to show what I want. or even find like a specific magic item is a little hard.
It can be really hard, yeah. That's true.
Like whenever we've done like magic item shopping, I normally just go to the PDF of the book because it's way easier to just browse than like the archive nethesis for that case at least.
Yeah, of course. That's actually a good point, my squeezing arm. I guess now is a good point as any. If you're enjoying the content we have here, please like, follow, and subscribe on your channel of preference. We stream on both YouTube and on Twitch. We also do live play content here. We look into new game systems every month. And down below, we have a link to my Twitter if you want to keep up to date with my social stuff, as well as a Discord link where we talk all things tabletop. And if you want the chance to play with me and my friends, we always recruit there first for our games. Hell, our recent game had, well, we did have 3 new players, and then Alex and I think Slug, but Slug didn't even show up. So we had a lot of new people in that one shot. If you really, oh no, there's an Anima fan in here. Oh no!
Yes, play Anima. Proper response.
We've caught one. We caught the bug finally.
I love encountering Anima fans in the wild. It's like seeing a cryptid. I love it so much. Anima is the best tabletop system. I agree. It's the best for customization.
If we're talking purely customization, I'll agree. For balance concerns, it's definitely not.
So it's the best.
Oh no!
I'm glad we agree on this point.
It's well, and Panda, to be fair, a lot of people do watch these streams post the fact, so I gotta have a call out every now and then. Oh god, but yeah, no, I can't say anything. I know Anima better than anyone else I know, so he just can't call other people cryptids. That sounds like a compliment to me. Big Guy's Small Mouth is an interesting one. It's definitely one I'd like to. It's definitely one I'd like to get into. Anima is a Spanish-developed anime weeb game. Is the best way to kind of put the aesthetic. It's a D100 system. If you like algorithms, if you like math, it's a game for making any kind of character you want. Because in Anima, you can literally make any character you want.
I feel like the best way you can describe Anima, like when we're talking about customization, is like that really funny Parks and Rec scene of now, when I said all the bacon, I think you misheard me. I think you heard me as a lot of bacon. No, I want all of the bacon you have in the building. That is what it is. That's what it's like. If you can name just any anime character, or even just fictional character with a power system, you can make it an Anima, and more times than not, it is very easy to do so.
Yep.
It was a little game we played when I was first getting into it, and Anima is my favorite tabletop system. Like, it is absolutely my favorite. It is so dumb, and I love it so much.
I like what Solar Raider put here. D&D characters, minutes. Pathfinder characters, hours. Anima characters, days.
True.
That ain't wrong, though.
True.
I've never played Rift, so it's hard to make the comparison. But imagine GURPS if it had a lot more weeby content put into it.
Anime GURPS. Well, see, and that I always encounter Anima strictly as I'm doing my best to not make a weeb character. There are a lot of weeb options, but
it doesn't have to be weeby. We've definitely done very non-weeby stuff.
You've thrown in a few for flavor.
What?
Like Soulbringer? What's his name?
No, I didn't throw him in. He's lore appropriate. He's in the lore.
He was in the session though. He tossed in a little bit of weeb.
Well, yeah, but that's just because you guys were in an area where Hellion Soulbringer was.
With his big dumb scythe. It's there.
He also uses a scythe.
Yeah, you can flavor your weeb. There really is no system you can compare to Anima. Anima is its own thing. and it's beautiful. And I cannot wait for their second edition that they're working on.
I do have a video on the channel about anima. It's easier to find if you just incognito look at the channel, because it's the front page, like, introduction video, ironically enough. But yeah, you can flavor the weeb. Best quote of the week. Mutants and masterminds, maybe. It's really hard to describe in any one. Like, it would take a 2-hour video to fully describe anima. So,
yep, that's something I'm gonna tackle soon.
I like my TTRPG Robin flavored. Hell yeah, I get that. I'm so into that. Mutants and Masterminds is a really good system.
Is that the? I feel like is that the one that's kind of Fallout style?
No,
oh,
it's
okay,
a superhero one.
Okay, I'm thinking something completely different. Oh boy.
This is where we need to be talking all things tabletop, not just Pathfinder, not just D&D. We got so many great conversations going on here today. There's a lot, and like, again, there's so many game systems. I played a lot of game systems. I've played a lot, and I still just scratch the surface. Even playing a new game every month, it's just, there's always just more and more and more. You can play The Boys with Mutants and Masterminds, Bunkers and Badasses.
Yeah. That'd be fun. Everyone keeps making these TV shows of what if Superman was evil. Why can't we play it too?
Right.
It's not even ironic. I would actually really like to play a boys-inspired superhero RPG. That'd be super fun.
I think there's a grim dark superhero game sounds pretty fun.
It sounds cool. Like, because I feel like games haven't caught up. Granted, also I ain't gonna diss The Boys because it's written by my absolute favorite comic author of all time. So I'll gush about that another time.
I don't know enough about it to properly comment. I know it's general, like, synopsis, but, like, I don't know. To me, it definitely has a lot of fucked up points in it, but that's also the point, so I don't know.
That's the point. It's by the same guy who wrote Preacher, and I've gushed about Preacher a whole lot.
A one-shot The Boys using Mutants and Masterminds. Hey,
that'd be hype.
Could be. I don't know the system, but that would really sell it for me. Did they release a Borderlands board game? I know I'm currently in the process of making a Bloodborne board tabletop.
I don't know if they
Halloween
released.
This year.
I don't know if they released one. It'd be a good idea, but I have no clue if they released a Borderlands board game. I feel like I would know if they did, but I could just be really ignorant, I guess.
I could see it being a board game. I think it'd be a cool tabletop, honestly, some of the stuff. But to be fair, what makes Borderlands is the writing, so that's very GM dependent, I think. But to be fair, I heard the comic book is better than the show, but
no. Well,
no.
I'd say I would argue genuinely. So the thing with The Boys is that's really important is it's a really good adaptation, is what I'll say. I think they're pretty separate things, because The Boys comic is a critique on the comic industry and pointing out how, like, the comic industry, like, that's the focus point of it. The show is about the movie and television industry for superheroes. They're like separate. They're critiquing separate things and critiquing separate time periods. Because The Boys, like, show is critiquing modern politics, and The Boys comic is critiquing, like, Clinton and Bush. Like, that's the difference. It's time period and subject matter, and there is plot differences, but I will not say they're negative plot differences. Having read the comics and watched the show, I would say they're both equally good, and it's really fun to see a good adaptation of a comic series.
I mean, any tabletop is a looter shooter if you put enough shooting and loot in it.
Yeah, just put more loot in your games.
Get more guns.
If you really want the experience, have a bunch of confetti poppers, and when your players kill a boss, just shoot a confetti cannon in their face. It's all the loot flying out.
Yeah, like I said, I can't speak too much on the boys. Only what I heard. So you can mark that as hearsay, Your Honor.
Yeah, very true on the rating. I like Garth Ennis. He makes a lot of very grimdark stuff. I like his line, his run of the Punisher. Preacher is, I think, one of my favorite series ever. I like things with very dark like tone. It's something I enjoy.
See, this is right. Like, this is what tabletop just needs to be. That's why this whole controversy really rubbed me the wrong way. It's why I wanted to talk about it this week rather than the settings one, which we were gonna do, because I feel like it's really important to just point out that tabletop is just fun. People are gonna be upset about what game you play, not taking their favorite route. It happens in all communities. All you just gotta do as a content creator is just look at it, say, man, that's fucking annoying, and then prove them wrong. You know? You just gotta be like, but you know what? One of the most iconic storylines in all of tabletop is done predominantly in 5e. So.
Yeah. I do want a return of Spawn, actually. I want Spawn to come back.
I want a good Spawn to come back, because every time Spawn comes back, they always want to get experimental with it, and it just never comes out right.
I'll ask, have you seen the Spawn cartoon?
A little bit. I didn't watch a lot of it.
It's very good.
It is very good from what I've seen.
It's so fucking good. I've seen it's all on HBO, and I watched through it. I really like that it emulates the comic style. I think genuinely the only good version of Spawn we have seen in a really long time is fucking Mortal Kombat.
Right.
He's in Mortal Kombat 11, and that's Spawn, and it's the voice actor from the fucking show, and that is, in my opinion, the voice of Spawn. That man has a beautiful voice. Yeah, I can imagine it's in dev hell. I feel like it's definitely a producer thing of like, Spawn is popular, but will it sell?
Oh, I think there's just some rights issues for it. That's an unfortunate thing about a lot. That's why Static Shock hasn't come out with anything recently. Because that's... I want more Static Shock. Please give me Static Shock.
I love Static Shock too.
I love Static Shock.
That'd be fun.
You know, I just want a reboot of the cartoon that came out in the early 90s. I absolutely loved that cartoon.
You know, I hope if they do a Spawn reboot, like they do what the HBO Spawn did, and have it start with McFarlane talking in front of the camera again. I really love how kind of awkward he is on camera. It's really funny to like, there's something about him. He's such like, I feel like a nerdy guy, that him talking about the storyline of Spawn in this creepy room and just talking about like this is the plot of this episode. I really like it. It feels really fun and cheesy. I hope they do that for a reboot. I also hope a reboot happens, and it's good, because Spawn is a good character and deserves to be treated well.
You know what I really hope for? I legitimately hope for a really good tabletop Bloodborne.
Agreed.
I think Bloodborne has a really strong aesthetic that could be fun, and the combat in Bloodborne is really good. Like, switch weapons are the coolest thing to come out of any Soulsborne game ever. And it's just one of those things where I know it can be done. I'd love to even... There's a board game of it, but I don't know how good the board game is.
It's like the Dark Souls board game, and it's...
Which I've not played, so...
I've heard they're fun, but it's not like a deep experience. They're fun. But they're also really expensive. They have really cool minis, though. Also, I missed it earlier, but yes, Squeezing Arm. It is Keith David. in Mortal Kombat 11. They got that voice actor.
The Witcher RPG.
There's a Witcher
I love
RPG?
The Witcher.
What the fuck?
I wouldn't be surprised. The Witcher's fucking huge.
Yeah, I want a Witcher RPG. I want to play a Witcher.
I always have such a soft spot for games where monsters are scary and you have to figure out how to beat them to actually beat them. That's what I love.
There's such a cool video by Bashu.
Yeah, maybe Bashu's the animated D&D
Yeah,
guy.
that guy. He made a really good video on turning 5e more witchery, and it's really cool.
Came out a while ago, Cyberpunk Red.
I heard it's interesting.
I heard Cyberpunk Red didn't do well though.
I saw the books on shelves once, and then like I went back to the same shop, and they weren't there anymore.
Yeah, but that just means they're not being restocked.
Exactly. Like,
so...
I had someone pick up the book, someone who played the original Cyberpunk, and said it's interesting. That, like, it was not a clear gushing about that it's, like, God's gift to tabletop.
Check out Vaesen, a Monster Hunter game. I'll do that. Or I'll try to, if I have time.
More tabletop games to add to the one-shot list.
Yeah. We need to... we need to get Blades in the Dark and Warhammer off that list.
Yes! Everyone vote for Warhammer! Just do that and the problem will be solved. Let's just play Warhammer. You know what? Let's not even have a poll this month. We can just play Warhammer, you know? I think it's a great idea.
Alright, Blades in the Dark,
no,
let's
please! Please!
Also, Kingdom Death Monster. That sounds interesting.
It's an interesting name.
Yeah. I do keep a general record of things people mention to throw onto the polls at the end of every month or beginning of every month. So we'll see. We'll see what comes on. I have a real habit of picking a banger out of nowhere. So
just pick something shit, please.
I'm sorry. I just like, this sounds like a great game. And then everyone's like, that's a totally great game. And it's like, dang.
Fucking Warhammer Fantasy. You know the worst part? I do own a PDF for one of the Warhammer Fantasy core books. I think 2nd edition Fantasy. I own the core book. I got it in a Humble Bundle. It's possible. I don't want to do it.
Right now we got
40K.
Warhammer 40K Wrath and Glory.
Yes.
On the poll.
Wrath and Glory is one of the newer systems. An older one is Dark Heresy. I've heard it's very good. I just gave Wrath and Glory on the list because I've given the core book, like my core book of Wrath and Glory to Cam. It's because I bought it like a while ago.
Yeah. It has Monster Hunter fights and colony building between fights. Oh, that sounds super cool.
Oh, that sounds right up your alley, Cam.
That's like right my perfect shit. That's like everything I love in gaming.
That's exactly your style.
Oh, fuck.
Y'all
keep coming up with too many good ideas. Already, like, I keep filling out a notepad of shit because y'all are too good. Don't stop, but...
Yeah, no, keep doing it. It's fun.
keep pumping it out.
I love hearing about new systems. I know it was mentioned earlier, but I also parrot the opinion. One, I didn't know there was a Skyrim RPG, and two, if someone has, is it any good? Because I'm very curious.
Oh, okay, I see. So it's like a board game. Excuse me.
For like Kingdom Death Monster?
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently. Do a stream on TTRPG piracy, maybe? If a controversy comes up about it, sure. The thing is, I don't think that TTRPG piracy is a problem. The problem stems from how the companies respond to it. Because all of Pathfinder's content is available. And they still do pretty well.
Same with Lancer. Lancer does perfectly fine, and you can get the core book and like a really good tool of making your character and running games for free, which is a
Dungeon
thing of like you can just
musings.
pay a little bit of money and then like give yourself better tools. Oh yeah, I remember BattleTech. That's I remember seeing posters of that. It was a game I always wanted to try, but I never had the time to go down to the shop and like actually try it out.
Yeah, but see, that's what I think. Dead Phoenix. I think that's the way to go, right? Player stuff is free, GM stuff is paid, so that at least one person is buying content in a group, because that's how it is anyway. That's how it is normally.
True. How dare they treat their customer with respect?
Yeah,
I
but
say
how dare
actively
they?
working on a Warhammer model right now.
Right. Yeah, well, you know, Alex, you're a masochist when it comes to Warhammer.
It's fine. They just released a giant thing that changed how their game is played. So now some shit of mine is just now bad and will be put on the shelf.
Yep.
Don't you love that?
Yeah, you can pretty much, yeah, right, exactly, Panda. They're doing well, so piracy is not the issue. The issue is how companies are approaching it, because having online stuff available for your players, like I was told at Paizo, tabletop and hobby gaming in general are gold mines because their players put a lot of money into the game. Archive and Nephis is free. I have here well over $400 or $500 worth of books, physical. And I buy PDFs on Roll20 so I can share them with my players and make using the games easier. And not only that, but when you buy it on Roll20, Paizo allows you to turn in a code to get their PDF free if you buy it on Roll20. D&D doesn't do that, or they didn't. I don't know. They might now. I don't run it, so I don't know. But piracy is forced advertising for small creators, though. What do you mean?
Is it just that a lot of small things, just like small games and such, just have to release it for free to even get people to pay attention to it? Because there's probably some truth to that.
Well, okay, I think I understand. Piracy is is very damaging for smaller creators, and
That's true.
I feel that's true, and I feel there's no good way to answer that.
Piracy in general is just it's a tricky game because like I think the best response, but even then, depending on how it's handled, is not a good response. It was how back when CD Projekt Red had infinite like customer appreciation. We're considered the poster boys of just treating your customers and employees well. Their response to Witcher piracy was like, man, sucks they're pirating. We're gonna let them do it. Hopefully they liked the game enough to pay for it. And it eventually, I think, turned into a small community of how dare you pirate CD Projekt Red things, and like some sites wouldn't let you host it.
Yeah, and that's a good thing too. Create a community of people who chastise people who pirate content, you know, because people aren't going to listen to companies when they're because like, well, they got money. I don't need my money. But if all their friends are like, man, you gotta not do that, you know, they'll probably listen, more likely anyway. Yeah, and that is true, and that's very unfortunate. It's one of those things, though, I will mention, is if you're making third-party content, you're already borrowing a lot for your content anyway, so making anything at all, even though you put your work into it, you're still getting something out of it. But if you're making a new system, yeah, it's devastating. You're like, oh, I want to make this big system, I want to compete with D&D, but everyone pirates your stuff because they can't find it because you can't get a publisher to make good-looking books put out there. That's just kind of one of those things of people will always buy things of quality. So you have to produce something of quality. If you have a really good book that has great art in it, that has good materials made, people will buy it. But not everyone can afford that. And so it really sucks for small time creators in general. And the only way to really combat that is for content creators. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's it. Is for a big content creator. If I get massive and I tell people, hey, go check out this content. Go check out this third-party content. I really like it. A lot of people will go and buy that content, even if they can pirate it. It's just goodwill generated through use of clout. So, you know, all the more reason to keep pushing to be a big-time YouTuber and content creator. Because that's the only way I can imagine fighting that kind of stuff, is just generating enough goodwill in that person's direction. And maybe even donating a bunch of money if I have a bunch of money laying around. I would love to have a bunch of money laying around to just donate to content creators.
God, Humble Bundle is really good, though.
Humble Bundle is very good.
I have a lot of tabletop PDFs, like strictly through like the charity stuff I've donated to.
I can only afford to go about like one system at a time, but yeah, there's a lot of great stuff on Drive-Thru. I love Drive-Thru RPG. And also, Battlezoo is the shit. I really want to start using Battlezoo's content more. It's just hard, you know, especially because, like, I don't have a lot of money. We did giveaways recently to try to boost the channel, you know, which didn't, I think it worked a little bit. I think we got a few more people on through giveaway stuff, at least to watch for that kind of content. And it's just keeping up with it. But it's expensive when you have, you know, no income. Hopefully that will change soon, but it is what it is. Yeah, unfortunately. The donation model is kind of what makes sense in this new digital era. That's true. I think donation stuff, asking for donations, is a good way to at least get something out of people. Even if you have like a mandatory like $1 donation, like it actually costs $1, but like everyone's willing to put in at least $1 anyway. It'll make people less likely to pirate your stuff because they can get it for only $1. But it'll make you more likely to get more than $1 for your content too. You should sell a kidney to do more giveaways, right? Those are replaceable, right? I mean, like, I'll just grow another one. And that's true, so if you create quality content, people will support you. I agree. The hard part is people who really are passionate, who don't have the time to invest in making quality stuff. I love companion apps. I think if I ever actually, I really need to play test my game. It's been ready for so long. But if I ever actually make my game, produce it, I definitely want a companion app to go with it, kind of like Lancer's CompCon. Because I feel like the whole, oh, what's it called? The flair of it, the personality behind something like CompCon really makes a game system more interesting in my eyes.
Like the fact that if you use a Horus mech, your share link becomes corrupted.
Yeah, isn't that cool? I love so that cool stuff. We're definitely, I think tabletop is definitely moving in a direction that is going to start expanding more in different areas. I'm very excited for that as well. That's why I think this whole controversy of Pathfinder versus D&D is stupid at all. Because you can like both. You can have both and play other games too. You have, if you have time, you have the time to do it. And if you only have time for one, then you're going to pick the one you like more. And that's just as simple as that, you know? Yes, it's great. If I make my game, you'll convert the role set into Fantasy Grounds. Thank you, my squeezing arm. Definitely would like some help with that, because honestly, my My brain works best when it comes to coming up with content on the fly. I am really bad about sitting down and just making rules for something. And I can do it because I have a good idea on how rules should be formed. My brain works better when there's pressure to create. So, anyone to help me do anything else really helps out. That's why I can't wait to get an editor, because I feel like my content could be much better. But I just don't have the brain for making really good edited content. And I'm struggling just to get my content out as is. Oh yeah, I get you. I love Invader Zim. Great show.
I like the first 5 episodes because it's what I've seen.
I mean, it's definitely a show that has its ups and downs. Because there's a lot of really funny, well-written episodes, and there's just a lot of weird, like, what do we do this week kind of videos or episodes.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty good overall.
The only line I remember is something I thought was fucking hysterical, is the you're ugly when you lie bit.
Yeah.
You're ugly when you lie. I'm not lying. Then why are you ugly?
I like the meme that came out shortly after the movie of like, I love this thing more than anyone else. Hey, I love that thing too. I love it more than anyone. Scientifically impossible.
Not scientifically possible. Like, just zoom, like that instant second. I am a big fan of the joke and animation of a character moving way too fast.
That's really cool, Accelerator. That's awesome. Oh, God. I need to work out. I'm sitting here just like...
Join me.
I getting exhausted from just... Because I get very animated and I talk very excitedly about tabletop. So, like, by the end of our 2-hour stream, I'm like, all right, I'm tired. I need to work out.
Eventually, once we have, like, once the company is off the ground, I'll drag you to the gym.
Okay. Hey, yeah, I mean, if I, if I can delegate my work to some people, I'll be more than happy to. Like, that's the thing. I actually genuinely enjoy working out. I enjoy working out. It's just hard to motivate me to keep going.
Yeah, I get that.
And... Well, let's see. Like, I do enjoy going, like, working out, but it's just one of those things of this hard to keep going back, because, like, I have a bunch of pictures of myself, like, at the gym or whatever. I love going. It'd be better if I could go with other people.
Yeah. See, I'm the opposite. I like working out primarily on my own. Also, actually, a fun little hack for that. You don't even need a treadmill. So one thing I've done recently is, I'm actually, I have a personal trainer. I'm hiring a guy to help me work out. Because my problem is, like, I'll do it. I just have no fucking clue what's going on. And like, I don't understand it. So I just have a guy who is, like, the same situation as me, fat his whole life, then decides, you know what, I'm gonna get buff. And then he's now an actual bodybuilder. Like, does perform at, like, the shows and all that. And one hack he told me was, you don't even need a treadmill. If you just walk in place, you're good. Just, like, watch something. If you're, like, sitting on your desk just watching a thing, just walk in place. It does the same thing. Just do that for a while. He was giving me a bunch of fun hacks for, like, the whole, like, life of just, like, finding ways to cheat in exercise. That, and also, I really like doing just heavy lifting stuff. I like powerlifting.
Yeah. Well, so my problem is a lot of this stuff that people are recommending are good and will make me healthier for sure, and probably stuff I should do. But I'll never look better doing that kind of stuff. I'm an endomorph, and I'll keep on a thicker frame no matter what I do, because I went to classes for working out. I worked out for most of my high school life, and I never really got any skinnier no matter how hard I worked, just because I have a very thick frame just normally. I have to do really intensive workouts to actually lose a lot of weight. I have to burn a lot of energy. And so it's just the thing is like doing something like, because I used to be a really, well, not used to, I'm a super nerdy guy. Whenever I worked at Macy's, for instance, I wore ankle weights underneath my dress pants to increase resistance, you know. Whenever I was,
and then you take them off and you move so fast.
It definitely
and you get your true power.
Whenever I would set up displays, I would squat down real low, you know, at level to work on it. It looked dumb, sure, but I also don't have social inhibition, so I don't care if people think I look dumb, you know. Like, I've done a lot of those small things. I never ever it's calorie deficits is what it is.
Yeah, it's all diet.
So it's all about just what you're putting in and what you're taking out, you know, or whatever. And not only that, but I have a job that requires a lot of mental strain, which consumes a lot of energy, actually. So I have to keep up a pretty decent calorie intake for work. So it's one of those things of like, I just would have to work harder than people standardly would. But I don't mind working hard. Honestly, I work too hard. I remember when Quentin used to live here, and I started working out for the first time. Or not for the first time, but I started working out with Quentin. It was like a period I was trying to really get healthy. I have a problem knowing when to stop pushing myself. So if I'm not super careful, I'll literally hurt myself because I don't have those same inhibitors. Like, I remember after working out, I peed like pink for a couple days or a week. It was actually really bad. I probably should have went to the hospital.
Probably. See, the worst I've had is I have almost passed out from like from deadlifting. But you know, I've always been good at like I'm very hyper aware of my state, just how I am. So I can usually catch if I continue this action thing, bad thing will happen, and I can stop myself.
Yeah, and exactly, my crazy name. That's kind of the thing too. It's people think it's easy doing content creation, but I do content creation on top of editing, on top of social networking, on top of a bunch of stuff where I'm getting in contact with people all the time and trying to, you know, like improve this job. And this job doesn't have a very clear track to success. There's no cheat sheet for getting where I want to be. It's literally all just constant, consistent effort over the course of, you know, a pretty long period of time. And you gotta, I could be doing more. There's no question. There is stuff I could be doing. But right now, I'm just working my best to get to where I'm at right now. You know, it's gonna take some time to get anywhere else. And if I want to improve my quality of life and my general health overall, well, you know what? I'm not a health, you know, like practitioner. I'm not someone to talk about it, and I don't think anyone here who is. So, yeah, let's keep conversations civil for the most part. Just, you know, there's a lot of different ways of doing it, and definitely it's different from person to person. Like I said, I'm an endomorph, so even if I do everything right, I rode my bike to work and school for like years in college and was consistently trying to work out, you know, very light stuff. Never made a difference. it would take a very harsh regime, I think, to lose a lot of weight. And it would
I
cost.
understand body type. It's real tough, like that idea, you know.
Yeah, and not only that, but like some people just have bigger muscles. That's just the thing. Like some people just genetically have bigger muscles. So even if they lose weight, they don't get toned because their muscles are so expanded, you know, in a way that isn't necessarily flattering from the outside. It's like Vin Diesel's a really good example. Dude has just really thick pectoral muscles. And so when he works out, he gets serious man boob because it's just how they form.
That is true.
Peyote, yeah, you are late. Sorry.
Yeah.
We pretty much had discussed earlier the whole Pathfinder 2E and D&D 5E controversy of people coming into content creators' chats and telling them to play Pathfinder 2E all the time, incessantly, annoyingly, and nagging them over and over and over to do so.
You know, I will bring. I don't know if I've told you this, Cam. I'll gladly talk about this while we're still slightly on the topic. Did I tell you that a pretty big reason of like me wanting to get like jacked is like a strictly economic reason?
Oh no, you didn't tell me this.
So I'm a big guy. We're both endomorphs. You know, I got my clothing sizes. I figure if I get buff, it'll at least match my size of me being fat, so I won't have to buy new clothes. So economically, me getting ripped as fuck is the better way of me getting healthy. Because then I won't have to spend more money.
I mean, I think that's a bullshit reason, but
no, genuinely, that is one of the big reasons. Other than the fact of like, I just want to like be healthier. It's be healthy, and if I'm going to be healthy, getting jacked will save me money. That's kind of it.
Yeah, but see, like, I'll see that trend and I'll raise you. If you like the way you look, you'll buy more stuff that will show your body off. And then if you lose that, you'll instantly outgrow all of those.
Nah, I just want to be able to wear the cool shirts I have currently.
Mm-hmm. I mean, to be fair, I also want that, but I also have a bad habit of I hate our washer and dryer here. We have a community washer dryer setup thing, and I just don't want to dry my clothes twice, so I always blast it on high heat to dry my clothes. So all my clothes shrink.
I see.
So whatever shirts I buy that fit me at start never fit me for long because they always shrink inevitably. So I kind of want to get skinny just so I can wear all my shirts too. Because it's not because I buy just too many. It's not because I'm getting bigger. In fact, actually, I've been losing weight, or I've been keeping consistently less weight because I don't eat that much because I've been working so much lately. Like, there's so many days where I'm talking to Suzanne, like, did I eat anything today? When was the last time I ate? And then it was just like, I've eaten like maybe 800 calories or something in a day.
Damn.
It happens a lot.
Yeah, no, that can happen. See, big reason, saving money. Get healthier, you save money.
I agree, or at least not getting fatter can save you more money. But
I do have a goal of September. I want to actually be like have more definition, like muscle definition.
I just want to be strong again. I'm definitely a lot weaker than I used to be.
I've finally in the past month, I've noticed that like, oh shit, I'm actually stronger day to day. It is nice.
It takes a while,
in a
but
very long time. Like, I'm not out of breath as often.
Honestly, I love working out. It's
so fun.
It's nice getting that sweat on. It's nice seeing yourself physically improve and being able to do more, and you just feel better. Like, the only reason I literally don't is just I got too much other shit. I'm juggling too many balls, and that one's just the one I drop the most. So
I'll drag you along, and because I also need a spotter for the stuff I do.
Yeah.
So I'll drag you along once we're finally in the same area.
Finally. Oh yeah. So for Peyote, if you're still here, I guess the general stance we took was it's shitty. People shouldn't do that. Tabletop is a community that shouldn't be segregating into different tribes of different games anyway. But I believe it's on the content creators not to chastise the audience, but to set examples by showing just how fun playing multiple game systems are. And I think Alex more or less was just read the room, don't be annoying, and understand that content creators are people too, and they probably hear whatever you're gonna say 1,000 times.
Yeah. It's, you think of a funny joke, you're like, oh, this will kill. Yeah, it's probably because thousands of people have made that same joke at that person. Now they find it annoying. That's what happens.
Yeah. I mean, that's... like, being a smaller content creator is also one of those struggles. Because, right, there's a lot of super ambitious people out there. There's a lot of people who have 40 subs, and they're like, hey, Matt Mercer, do you want to come chat with me on my channel? Like, there's a ton of people out there who, constantly bug content creators for, like, collabs, to boost their own content, and stuff that just isn't equitable across the board. And I get that. I get that a lot, and I'm sure I'm going to run into that plenty doing what I'm doing. That's why when I become a bigger channel, one of my focuses will be to give voices more to smaller content creators as well. Like, I'm sure a bunch of people are going to bother me, and I'm going to get annoyed, and I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of people that I don't think is going to deserve what attention I would give them. But there's a lot of people who are, and at the very least, if I see something worth bringing up, I will bring that, content creator up and at least talk to them and get their insights on stuff. Yeah, right. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I remember I was watching Trash Taste recently, and they're commenting like, oh, I remember when this guy hit like 1,000 subs, which was huge in the AniTuber community at that time. And it's crazy to see how far everything has come along. And I think legitimately tabletop is in that same vein right now. There's a lot of people who are not quite up to snuff with other types of content, but if we keep pushing it, I think we'll get there. For sure. And that's the thing too. If anyone here is a content creator and wants to talk on Table Talk at some point in the future, please let me know. Send me a message on Discord or on Twitter. I've opened up my Twitter to receive information from anyone. Yeah, Anime Man was like a gaming channel. Like, yeah, for real. And, I never want to lose the fact that content creators need to help support each other. If more people... See, that's the thing, right? This is why I feel like it's really bad for content creators to be very exclusive right now, in general, for tabletop community. If we got more average channels, if we got more channels in the 1,000 sub range, there's it's a wider net. Someone is going to get caught by one of those content creators, and that person's going to enter our field and watch more content in the field in general. I don't feel like it's bad at all to promote a bunch of small channels, even just getting them up to 1,000 or whatever, because in the end, it just means more people are likely to get into the community. But the thing is, everyone's on that hustle. Even people who are doing really well in the field feel like they're not doing well in YouTube, and so they're always looking for their opportunities to grow. And yeah, totally, for sure. And I mean, to be fair, I am glad you respectfully were just like, oh yeah, I've done this as well. You know, I hate it when people jump onto chats just to be like, hey, check out my stuff. I feel that's super disrespectful to the person who's there. But in this context, I feel that's very appropriate. So feel free, call yourselves out. It's all good. Especially now that I'm okaying it, for sure. But, yeah, you know, and that's the thing, is when it comes to the tabletop community, 1,000 subs is actually a lot. Because there's a lot of channels out there who are in the tabletop community who don't have 1,000 subs. And 10,000 subs is like having 100K subs in the tabletop community. Like, the number of people who have more than that is very, very small. And, you know, I have a very strong feeling that this channel will make it. I mean, I feel like this time next year, we're going to be sitting between 5,000 and 6,000. I feel like this channel really has a chance of making waves and getting up there. Because we've been making really good progress. I've only been doing this since like September, at least for the Pathfinder end of things, when the channel actually started growing. And, you know, we're going to hit 1K in 10 months. That's pretty good. That's a really good on YouTube in general. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Another OSR channel. Kept Gorgeous. I am writing these down. I legitimately think this OSR stuff is interesting. So I'd like to get into that. And I have to drive Suzanne to the ferry today, so I might take some time to listen on my way to or from.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I appreciate it, and it's good to start a community of a bunch of people who want. Okay, thank you. It's very good to have a community of people. Like, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people here I've seen, you know, before. There's a lot of people here I'm seeing a lot for the first time. Our Discord is full of all kinds of people who've been supporting us for quite a while now. I mean, it looks like we're getting some more people even right now. So, you know. Thank you. All right. That's going to be super helpful. And, you know, that's the thing, too. Like, every time we do a new game system, we get some more people who join this channel. So every month, we're going to be getting new people in who have different perspectives and like different games. And I think that's A-okay.
It's even better. Like, if I'm going to be part of a community, I want it to be something that actually, like, doesn't just talk about the same shit all the time. Because I get really bored of the same thing over and over and over again. So actually being like, yeah, we're going to try out new content and have people talking about different stuff. That's more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, tabletop YouTube stuff is not new. It hasn't been new for 10 years. You know, there's been people doing it for a long time. I remember when I was in college looking at some channels, the Gentleman Gamer or something like that. I think it was one of the first ones I watched for tabletop stuff. But I definitely feel like there's not a lot of pioneering YouTube channels right now for tabletop that are really wishing to push the community in general. There's a lot of them that are like, let's look at new games, and I think that's great. And that's what we want to do here as well. But I also want to make more of a community part as well. I want to expand tabletop as an idea as well. So, you know, it's something along the lines of just... I don't know what we're going to be yet, but I feel like there's space in the tabletop field to evolve. And so I want to be an innovator. I want to be on that front line. Me too. I do miss Gentleman Gamer. So, you know, if you like content or if you make content or whatever, let me know. Let your favorite content creators know. If you have any content creators you like who are on the smaller side who want to chat with another channel, refer them. Refer us to them. We'll be more than happy to talk with people.
100%.
You know, Like, the only way this channel will grow at in a reasonable enough rate is if people talk about us. So I want to make something worth talking about. But I guess I also need to mention, if you like our content, let other people know you like our content, you know? I'm not asking for anyone to push our content for us. That's not what I mean at all. I could do that myself. But if you like it, tell other people about it. And I'll keep trying hard to make content that people want to watch, you know? I'll keep trying to make the kind of channel where people can come together and talk about tabletop things and just enjoy tabletop in general. We don't need to be getting any hate. We don't need people coming in here saying that this game is better than that game. Both games are great. You can like one better than the other. You can absolutely despise a game that we've looked at and that we like. I'm okay with that. Just, you know, keep it respectful. You could definitely say, IMO, I don't think this game is all that great. And we're going to give you a big thumbs up. And then we're going to go back to talking about what we're doing. You know, it's one of those things. And thank you. I really appreciate that. I do. Yeah, and you know, I've seen other YouTube channels getting together and having chats with each other. I really do. I feel like it's something that needs to expand more in the field. And I think it's something that just needs to happen more often. And I think it needs to go outside of our games that we focus on. Because that's where I see most of them. There's a lot of them are talking with other people in their game area. And I think there needs to be a little bit more crossover, especially with the bigger names. I really wish the bigger name people would take the initiative to do more, like, collaborative content. So, you know, I'm going to... Nothing Ventured, Nothing Gained is an underrated Pathfinder 2e YouTuber. Okay. Yeah, for sure. That's fair. Some people make a living on tabletop, so we all have our boons, you know, in the field. But I'm happy with today's chat. I think everyone here in the audience has been amazing. Everyone here has been fun. We talked about controversy, and everyone was pretty much on the same page on it. And you all have been great. Thank you so much for all those who've been talking in the chat. It's yeah, you always get nervous bringing up this kind of content for the audience because you never know who's gonna have a very just way out left field kind of viewpoint on it.
I was totally expecting and like waiting. I was like, man, I hope we don't get a bunch of weirdos coming in and like screaming about, no, but Pathfinder is better, D&D is better. Now everyone was like, it's dumb. Just play the game you like.
Yeah, just play the game you like. And everyone here has been, and not only that, but with good humor, you know, like, we're getting along too much, everyone. Rebel! Quick! Form parties! Go back to tribes! I love that stuff. I think that's really fun. I think that kind of humor is what carries tabletop, because tabletop is the serious game that you can take not seriously. You know what I mean? Like, no, don't worry. Never feel bad about coming in and talking in the chat. As long as you're not like just spamming your keyboard in frustration. I hate when people do that. Like, as long as you got something to say it. That's all what we're here for. Man, Taken 20 is not the content creator to make that call, though.
Not really.
After what he did to Pathfinder 2e, I don't think he's the one to make that call. I think that would generate a lot more negative energy than he would like. But I don't know. I do think there are content creators out there. XP level 3, I think, is someone who I think should do more kind of content like that. And, you know, even No Nats. No Nats is one of is essentially the highest Pathfinder 2e channel right now, as far as for someone who does predominantly Pathfinder 2e content. So, but hopefully we'll make our way up there. Hopefully we'll make our way to being recognizable in the community. It might take a few years, so it's going to be a bit of a ride. I appreciate those who stick along, and if you fall out, don't feel bad. That's no one deserves your time. No one is entitled to your time. Never feel bad about unsubscribing from a channel you just don't watch. You know, even though if you want to support them, I understand. I'm not going to get salty about it. If I'm not making content people want to come watch, then I obviously got to work better. So, and no, you're fine. No one here has been annoying. Thank you all so much for talking in the chat. Seriously, it means a lot. Yeah, it's true. He did just have a kid. So he's going to be busy for a while. I'm not saying he needs to do it right now. I'm just saying, in general. You know what? We're past our time. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm tired. Yeah. We got some fun stuff coming up next month. We're more than likely going to be having our 1,000 subscriber, you know, celebration on the channel. We might do something fun with it. We might, hopefully we got something else. We're going to have more chat stuff coming up. We're going to have a lot more. We're going to be talking, if it's in the tabletop community, if it's going to be in the tabletop community, we're going to bring it up if I feel like it's something that content creators need to voice about. And, you know, I'm going to still be producing the archetype videos when the new classes come out. I'm going to be doing those videos as well. So look forward to that. And, yeah, support me where you can. Support me if you feel like it. And we'll see. Oh, no, I'm tired. I'm going to get down.
That's very fair.
And you got any closing statements, Alex?
Just be cool. Just like be cool.
Yeah. Don't be what everyone expects the tabletop community to be.
Just be like fun to talk to. Don't make people go, ugh, the nerds are here.
Right. Ugh, Pathfinder 2e players are here. Because you know what? I feel that. I feel that whenever a Pathfinder 1e person comments, I'm like, oh, here they come. Yeah, vote Blades in the Dark next month. Get that off the list.
No. I swear to God, I'm going to call in some favors.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.